Cool. So I'm talking a bit. I'll be taking notes as well in our chief of staff agenda. But I was inspired. I recently saw of another startup that had forecasts for each of their KPIs, each of their key performance indicators, which was cool to see, like week to week, how they think it will progress. So if it's going different than planned, you immediately know. And I thought that made it super clear what the expectations were. And then I see the OKR process basically as a way to change KPIs. Like every OKR should change a metric, and then look, your metrics are already there. So it's kind of fun where the OKR is just a quarterly forecast, basically. And then I'm sure Wade won't mind me sharing this. I was really impressed with the OKR tool that Zapier had for their OKRs, where you can kind of expand and collapse everything. And I think it would be cool to kind of have that in our Epic view in GitLab. And also they color code everything. And they show like a bar on the top level of how much is red, how much is orange, how much is green. So kind of an aggregate bar. And we kind of had that already at GitLab, where we do certain slides in a slide deck about the KPIs. We also color code them. So I thought that was kind of cool to see that come back. And then they embed the graphs inside basically the tool that expands and collapses to different things. I think that was cool. We also do that a bit with the handbook. And then I think it's cool how we're now changing our job families together in something. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure it should be in GitLab or not. But it's almost like, yeah, it's almost like it starts being an application that binds together your KPIs, your forecasts, your quarterly goals in the form of OKRs, job performance as in how everyone's performance relates to these things, and kind of the OKR text, the OKR issue to change things. And this would also form the basis of like the key meeting, and it would form the basis of the group conversation. All of these are pointing in the same direction or to the same set of data. So yeah, I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, so I spoke to, since you said Wade, I guess I'll say Zapier. I spoke to Stephen at Zapier last week, and I do think after hearing more about what they're doing and how they're using that, there needs to be a, like, yes, we can improve all this tracking and create this view, but I think there's a more fundamental question about OKRs. So for example, at Zapier, if it's a project, it's not a key result. It's not the outcome of something. We have to focus on business outcomes, not like getting this thing done or implement this process. But if you go through our OKRs page, there's a lot of key results that are implemented this process, had this, you know, they're business projects, they're not necessarily outcomes. And so I would make the case that that is a prerequisite. We have to solve that problem first before focusing on the tools, but I'm open to feedback if you don't think that's the...
No, I totally agree. Like, doing something is input, and we want to focus on output. What KPI, if you're going to change something and no core business metric gets effective, why are you doing it in the first place? And I've had the same thing with if you do a critical path analysis for every activity, you have to say what's the next activity. They all have to like roll up to the end goal. So, and then we were students, we were trying to do this, and we're like, oh, some activities don't have a thing that they that's only possible if you do this activity first. Yeah? What is only possible? What do you unlock with an activity? And some activities we need to do, but they don't unlock anything. And then the funny thing is, well, if they don't unlock anything, why are you doing them in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have to because, and then forces you to come to articulate why it's a necessary activity. Most of the times, obviously, the activity was needed, but some of them we're actually like, yeah, you can just not do it and still achieve the result.
Yeah,
which is even better. So I agree that we're sometimes a bit like activity focused and not like, what is this gonna change? How is this gonna make things better?
mm-hmm.
And it's hard.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
I have on my list to like rewrite the OKRs page because it's actually pretty sparse and it doesn't have that much about like what an OKR is. And I think for a lot of people, different companies do different forms of goal setting. So GitLab might be the first time they stumble upon OKRs, and it would make more sense for us to have a stronger resource where people can learn that it's not a project. If it's a project, it's not a key result. It's got to be an outcome, and little things like that. And that's I think, the first step in like leveling up our OKR process.
I agree.
Cool. I'll end this here unless you have any final thoughts.
No, thanks for watching.